From the depths of internet, we come to you. Bad news, good news, dead horse beating news. Even no news will stop us. We'll make news. Even if it is in dumpster fire. We bring you integrity, except when it's EA, Ubisoft, Bethesda, Star Citizen, practically all of them. Movies, shows, and other industry bullshit. This totally is not a waste of time, but it sure is. Space Waste News! Greetings there, folks! Yes, we got the audio, we got the video, and we got everything we need. Right, indeed. So, it is time for the recap of May 2023's gaming news, or at least as much news as there was, or is. Well, anyways, we got actually quite a lot of stuff to chit-chat about for the next hour or so, so strap in. We got some interesting stuff. So, well, the May overall was a interesting month, which started out, in fact, it's a perfect segue for the first two topics here, and we'll return to one of them afterwards as well. So first things first, Starbase. If you don't remember or don't really know, and who could blame you for not knowing what Starbase is as a game, it's an indie game developer released sort of a crafting space engineer-like game, which recently, or rather at the start of the month, announced that essentially they're sort of pausing development due to, well, people not playing the game, and there really not being anyone to cater to, if you will, for the gameplay. Though there are still people playing, if you can check it out on Steam. Steam. Actually, you know what? I'll check on Steam charts real quick, because the last time I checked, it was around 300 or so people playing it. So yeah, it's quite close to being dead. So give me a moment. Let's see. Starbase. I liked it. Like, I liked Starbase. Okay, yeah, I was kind of wrong on the number there. Divided by 10. Yes, currently and for the last, well, frankly speaking, 6 months, give or take. Yeah, Starbase has been enjoying sub-100 player average counts on Steam charts as it's reported, and that honestly is kind of sad, because all-time high for the game was about 9,000, and as I said previously, I liked it because generally speaking the game has good bones, if you will. It essentially has very snappy mechanics when it comes to movement and interactivity with the game world. UI might need some work, but generally speaking, that was my first impressions. However, ultimately, there's the funny thing is, as a crafting game, there's really not much to do in it, or at least it didn't seem that much to be doing in it, or stuff to do in it. So there's no real surprise when, sadly, developers have announced at the start of the month that they're gonna be sort of pausing development on it, and yeah, there's no wonder for it, especially considering that, yeah, no, it's basically dead at this point, and that is kind of sad, because there is a potential for it. That's the thing. With decent, oh god damn it, with decent design, this could have worked. Like, that game could have worked. And the funny thing is that apparently the game, Starbase, didn't really have a game designer. You can kind of tell it from the development overall. When it comes to mechanics, it's snappy, it's easy to use, and so on and so forth. So at least the coders know what they're doing. But when it comes to features and the design of the game, there's not really anything going on, and you can feel that. There really didn't seem to be any kind of a design idea behind it, and that's just sad because you can do a lot with a good design, right? Even if it is very lacking in features when it comes to games and so on and so forth. So, yeah, whether or not Starbase will return, or it will just dwindle and die, looks like that might be the case. I still would like to see the game continue on and, maybe competing to some smaller degree with Space Engineers. So, yeah, it has a potential. It definitely has the potential. But sadly, the result is what it is. Right, so that was the first thing for the May. Now, the other thing for the May, if you followed my videos and checked the stuff that I released, Redfall! Oh, God. Okay, Redfall. So I reviewed it, we all played it, and boy, oh boy, was it a piece of shit. Oh my God, it was from start to finish an insulting game. It was bad, and beyond that, it's just on live streams, it's kind of hard for me to express my absolute disillusion, disappointment, hate, and disgust for the fucking thing. But go watch the review, please. It explains everything in detail that you need to know about it, and I can't even call my Redfall review a review. It's a proper review at that point. And but yeah, no, there you go. It's it's stupid. Like, it's genuinely, the word stupid is perfect for it. And we'll get back to Redfall at this point, but generally speaking, it's a piece of shit. For $70, it's an always online game, a live service game on top of that, and also fuck you. That's basically what Redfall is. Gameplay wise, it's meh. No, it's not good. AI is brain dead. Literally everything else is unoptimized, and many other problems. But again, go watch the review. Seriously, it's worth it. Right. Right. Next thing. Yes, right. The next piece of news that I picked up as I was going through the month was that apparently on the latest iteration in basketball games, the NBA 2K23 next gen version is not available on PC. The old gen version is ported. Well, you know what the next gen sort of graphics, gameplay, and little things basically are only available on PlayStation and Xbox only, while on PC it's not available. Now, as video gamer, hold on, let me open the article there, from videogamer.com, there was this report, and let me find the exact quote that they used that made me weirded out, but it's not quite as insidious as they are putting it. Bad journalism there by Oliver. But anyways, let's see. Alright, so because the next gen editions have become increasingly popular, it has often posted the question whether PC players will have the opportunity to enjoy unique luxuries available on PS5, on Xbox Series X. Yeah, I read correct. Let me reread the goddamn question. Right, so here's the Because the next gen editions have become increasingly popular, it has often posted the question whether PC players will have the opportunity to enjoy the unique luxuries available on PS5 and Xbox Series X. We detail all you need to know, blah 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 blah, about whether next gen is included available on PC or not. Where was this stupid? Hold on. There was this one amazing quote that they put on. Made it reality. There we go. Right. The next quote is, unfortunately, NBA 2K23 Next Gen Play. That's a mode within the game, is not available on PC. The only two console generations that permit next-gen play are the PS5 and Xbox Series X. This is mainly due to the reality that PS5 and Xbox Series X provides the speeds and technology for the game to function at its best. Written by Oliver Dumont. Hopefully I got that right, by the article's author there, by Video Gamer, or on Video Gamer. First of all, that quote is so quite literally retarded. I had to look it up. Now, I looked it up and checked, detailing about NBA and next-gen play, blah, blah, blah. I hate sport games, okay? All of them are fucking predatory garbage. But in this instance, Mr. Oliver here is insinuating, or rather journalistically reporting that that because the next-gen play is not available on PC, the consoles are better than PC. Perfect timing. Oh, God, so thank you. This man is fucking stupid. And I thought that, okay, he's reporting what NBA is writing. Okay, I followed his sources that he lists within the article, and it leads to a simple FAQ for NBA 23, right? 2K23, right? And no, nowhere in that FAQ is written that Xbox Series X and PS4 are the only ones that are better than PC and are the best things out there. No, it's just simply saying that no, the next gen play is not available on PC. The PC will only get the old gen or current gen graphics and visuals, which is also bullshit, but it's just simply stating simple facts. Well, what I assume this guy is just deciding to report in a weird, smuggish way. Video Gamer, ladies and gentlemen, videogamer.com. Fucking joke. So yeah, this was an interesting one where I thought that, no, this can't be true. No company would say that, oh, the PC is weaker than the literal consoles, which are older generation of hardware that are released about a year old already when they are released. But no. What the fuck? So, yeah, after following the sources, it's just... So yeah, no. And in this case, NBA 2K23, yes, the fact that PC is not getting the best graphics is a bullshit argument, essentially, but whatever, the sports games can all go fuck themselves. But the way this stuff is reported is just disgustingly pathetic. So here we go. Right. And I'd be happy to know, I'd be happy to shit on NBA 2K23 if that quote turned out to be true, but as far as I could tell, no, it's not. It's just some ass pulling from game journalism. Fucking cunts. Okay, well, moving on then. Right, so on the month of May, also an interesting change happened. Linus from Linus Tech Tips announced that he's stepping down as CEO of LTT. Basically, he specifically described as to what going forward is going to be his role within the company, how it, how it's going to function, and yeah, maybe unless you really are into tech space like yours truly, you don't really care, but I do care. So that's an interesting change. Of course, he and his wife Ivan are still the shareholders. No, primary shareholders of the company, so nothing's really going to change. Just the CEO status is going to be given to somebody who is capable. And let's see if I can remember. They're giving the CEO status to his old boss from NZX. No, was it NZXT? Fuck. From his old job, basically. So yeah, we're still waiting for a reveal video for that, but yeah, it's an interesting change overall. So yeah. And then looking back at my own 10 years within YouTube, I'm still sitting here doing this. Yeah. Anyways, moving on then. Oh god. Okay. Well, this month also the Invictus Star Citizen event happened. Let's see. The Free Fly event happened from 19th to 30th. So for quite some time, you could actually pick up Star Citizen and try it out. Not that it's any good experience, but hey, there was that chance, and I did dip my toes in it, and I might release a couple of ship reviews as going forward, but I kind of want to do a more game review related stuff, but we'll see. In the meantime, I did release myself the Ultimate Beginner's Guide with Space Tomato. So, well, with the Space Tomato's help at the start of the thing. But yeah, go check that out if you need some help on Star Citizen. Not that there's really much to do, but hey, you can just load it up and have a good laugh. But yeah, now the Free Fly event weekend is over, so it is what it is. In any case, right, moving on then. Most of the ships that were placed there, crap and shit and garbage, and for the most part, really bad performance as you'd expect, and really bad results. Regardless, that's typical for Star Citizen. Speak of something even more deader than Star Citizen, or rather more unplayable-ish or thing. Well, regardless. Here we go with Overwatch. Yes, the big news for the month of May was the Overwatch, or specifically Overwatch 2. Now, originally, story went basically like this: Overwatch 1 launches. Activision decides, well, oh hey, we're making money with loot boxes, but we want to make even more money. Let's make a PvE mode for Overwatch, and let's call it Overwatch 2, and charge another price for it. Okay, they do that. Of course, Journality, well, thank you. Seriously. Activision says, okay, we're gonna make Overwatch 2, but we're gonna deliver the player versus bots, or player versus environment, or PvE, later down the line, right? That was the big sell of the Overwatch 2. We're gonna deliver the PvE storyline thing with extra abilities and stuff for characters, whatever, later down the line. Okay, that was the promise. Now, a couple of weeks ago, they come out saying that, we can't do that, and it's a drag on our resources, and we decided not to release that. Oops. And, yeah, basically, the big meme of the day was that TF2 outlived. I mean, already it was a meme that TF2 has outlived Overwatch in popularity already, right? But now it's doubly so because PvE game mode in TF2 existed. Man versus machine. And it's actually pretty good, even today. Sometimes annoying with the server, but regardless. And now even that mode has outlived the Overwatch, which is just disgusting. Oh, the fucking fuck you, Activision. First of all, Overwatch alone was a piece of shit with the goddamn loot boxes that popularized the loot boxes, and because of, well, it was one of the things that pushed back, or rather, forced the gamers to push back on loot boxes, as if, that wasn't already a big thing to do in the first place. But Overwatch was indicative for the loot box pushback. EA was the other one, but regardless. So yeah, now Overwatch is even more dead, as as developers are just saying, oh well, whoops, we can't, we promised PvE, and now to justify it being scrapped, we're just gonna say, it's a drag on resources and we can't continue, continuing the game by siphoning off resources to PvE. It's a drag. Which was the only reason why you made Overwatch 2, you fucking cunts! Oh, it's disgusting, but there we go. There we go. That's, the funny thing is, Overwatch could have been, and by all remarks, could have easily outshined TF2. It really could have. It had good gameplay. It had balanced gameplay, well, for the most part at least. And it just worked, right? The only problem was that it was governed by Activision Blizzard, which is fucking evil, and loot boxes, right? Ultimately, if you put in some cosmetical stuff, the fact that it had cosmetics for a paid game already was a bitch. There was also very limited server browsing as well compared to TF2. So yeah, ultimately, for gameplay wise, it worked, but all it needed was just more support for the community. Instead, what they did was lock it down even further and tried milking even more. And lo and behold, what a surprise, it fucking dies! Yeah! Oh god. You could listen to you literally complain for hours. You'd be one of us then. I couldn't, but, well, hey, there's that. Anyways, moving on then. On another news about the fucking Activision. Oh, baby, the hits keep on coming. So, do you like Modern Warfare 2? Like the OG. Well, not the OG, but the actual, real Modern Warfare 2. Call of Duty 6. Modern Warfare 2. Right? That good old game that still rocks today. Not the new garbage plebeian level, just basic bitch equivalent, right? You can actually watch my reviews on both of those games as they came out. I did review both of them. Anyways, there have been some fans out there managing servers and emulation and just basically providing what Modern Warfare 2 didn't offer, unlike Modern Warfare 1. See, back in the day, Modern Warfare 1... when Modern Warfare 1 released, it used dedicated servers, like Half-Life 2 did. You had dedicated server installation already downloaded, or you could download it and host your own dedicated servers. It wasn't peer-to-peer, or it wasn't any cloud-based server stuff, right? So the game was still playable, and any community member could use it and host their own services. Modern Warfare 2, when it came out, was peer-to-peer server. So basically, one or the best person within the lobby would usually host the game. That was seamlessly transferred to the next best thing, for next best person within the lobby, if that person left. And I remember those days because I played during those days. And the problem was that once Activision, or Infinity Ward specifically, closed down the connections to their online verification servers, you could not have that peer-to-peer gameplay. The only thing you could have was the co-op gameplay. So, what people did eventually was make their own servers to substitute for the already turned off games so that you could play Modern Warfare 2 online. One such project, in fact, a project to improve the Modern Warfare 2 and just general gameplay of it, adding more stuff, quite literally like a baguette melee weapon. Yes, I shit you not, that was one of the things they made. And combining a lot of other things, improving the graphics and so on and so forth, was SM2. And there was another server emulation service for Modern Warfare 2 specifically. And both of them, this month, got a cease and desist order from the fucking Activision. So yeah, the good big project that looked really cool, and in fact was making the game better, is getting nuked by Activision, and this is not the first time this has happened. I remember at least one other instance back in the day when they first closed down the servers for a fan project for Modern Warfare 2, when they stopped servers themselves, right? When Activision closed for the first time and said, no, that's it, we're stopping support for Modern Warfare 2. I think it was around the time of Black Ops 2. Sometime at the end of the lifetime for Black Ops 2, I think that was the time when they closed down their servers, and you couldn't play online, even though if you had purchased the game. So, obviously, fans came in because that's a fantastic game, and decided, well, we're gonna make our own emulator or make a dedicated server version, like with the Modern Warfare 1. And of course, Activision cease and desist ordered them. Now, Activision's once more swinging their dicks around and saying, well, stop the work on SM2. And I think it was X Labs as well. X Labs was basically the server emulator, and SM2 was a project to just overall improve Modern Warfare 2 at all instances, adding just more gameplay, more stuff, and just, oh, such good stuff. And it's just nuked to hell. So yeah, this is why we can't have nice things, and we'll get to this. Screw it, you know, might as well plot my own video here. I released this month, couple of days ago, in fact, the video talking about how live service games, or rather that we should stop killing games. If you haven't seen the video, go check it out. I talk about that basically we can stop killing games, or rather we should stop killing games, and encourage the publishers, developers to not, or rather have some sort of end of life plan in place. Once the service that they are planning for a game is supposed to retire one day when they don't want to support the servers. Basically, it talks about the games that become unplayable once the developer decides to shut down either the login servers or the servers for the gameplay or anything like that, that completely bricks the game. If you can still load up the game after its support ends, right? After companies stop supporting it, that's still playable, right? I mean, ultimately, it loads only the main menu and whatever, but it's still at least somewhat playable, right? Or at least it launches. See, the problem with the login servers, like Redfall, by the way, once you lose connection to the servers, or you can't connect to the login servers, you can't even get into main menu, and that's completely breaking the game. There are other things that, I mean, we could go even further and say that breaking the game also means that if there is no tutorial or single player mode, then if there's only multiplayer versions and those multiplayer servers are shut down, that's also counting as breaking the game, and I would prefer to go with that, but let's go with bare minimum and say that as long as it goes into main menu and you can, you know, go through the settings at least, that's counting as playable. Anyways, so yeah, sort of the same thing happened with Modern Warfare 2, but Modern Warfare 2 has a single player mode as well as co-op, so man, it also does launch without a login server, so there is that. Anyways, Mental, well, thank you. Mighty generous of you as well. Canadian bucks. And actually, speaking of Canadian stuff, the game that I was talking about, specifically about killing games, was a Canadian-made game by Ratloop Games, Ratloop Canada. So yeah, I'd love to see Lemnisgate, which is a really small game. Really small game with a nifty idea and honestly well executed result. But a mediocre game. Ultimately, a mediocre game, but a decent one, right? It deserves to be left alive, or rather, it deserves to live. And the thing is, why it's gonna be killed, at least on PC specifically, once they shut down servers, you won't be even able to launch it. That's killing the game. If you can launch the game and there are no servers, fine, whatever. Maybe put in, at least the tutorial is playable, right? That's at least somewhat playable thing. Even though it's not great, but it's not breaking the thing. However, on consoles, the game will still be playable with a LAN or local multiplayer as well as tutorial, which is a weird thing. Why on consoles it's not bricked and on PC it is? That's... I suppose I should have asked the developer. Well, thank you. Rarely do I get these notifications in Space News, but there you go. Hopefully, those of you watching in and listening in the recording there won't be too shocked. Anyways, moving on then. Right, so Lemnisgate, regardless of whether or not it is a big or small game, it still is something that we should save, or rather specifically, we should not let die. Because ultimately, as I learned through my back and forth with the developers, well, Frontier Development, who is the publisher of Lemnisgate, is responsible for all decisions made about, well, Lemnisgate's upkeep and general development, I would say. There are a couple of things that I assumed Lemnisgate, or rather Frontier Developments did for Lemnisgate to extend it or at least help it, which one of those things would be that they left the game running for a year and a half rather than, let's say, 3 months, like with PlanetSide Arena did. So yeah, there might be something that Frontier did okay and even went a step beyond, but going a proper way, you put down the money for a game. Fundamentally, you put down the money for the game. It's a premium game where you literally one-time purchase. It's not a service. It's not a subscription service like World of Warcraft, right? You put down money once for the game. You should have it in perpetuity. And the thing is, a lot of people tend to say that, oh, well, you play the game for 20, 40, 100 hours. It's worth the money, right? Well, no. Judging a game by play hours alone is stupid beyond belief. Genuinely stupid. First of all, game is something that you can go back to in 10 years time, right? You can boot up a disc of your game or a digital version, at least you should be able to, and play it again. It doesn't matter whether or not you played it for 10 hours, 2 hours, fucking 10 minutes. It should be the perpetuity, right? The product in perpetuity. It's a good, not a service, despite how companies want it to be. And don't be fooled about it. And no, don't repeat the nonsense. And yeah. Redfall, yeah, Fire. I see Firefall, I see Titanfall. The thing is, I did see a couple of people mention Titanfall 2 under the Stop Killing Games. But that's the thing. Titanfall 2 is not a live service game. Yes, the multiplayer servers are shut down, but the game itself is still playable. The single player is still playable. I'm not sure about the Titanfall 1, but regardless, point is, if the more usual thing about games as a service is the login server, which prevents or checks whether or not the copy belongs to you. And once the service of the login server is cut off from the company who doesn't want to support, upkeep for the servers, for the login servers, once that is shut down, you can't log in, and thus the game is bricked in perpetuity. Great. So yeah, that's what we should fight against. You can have the DRM, you can have the login servers, you can have the live service, as much as I hate it, for the lifetime of the game that the developer is willing to support it, or publisher is willing to support it. But once it's time to shut those things down, provide your customer with a way to repair the product. Right? The great example, well, an easy to understand example is you buy a movie disc in a gas station, like I did in the video to give an example. That movie still runs, right? You put it in a player and it still runs. It still does show the movie, right? The games as a service example is when the company quite literally goes into your house and breaks the disc for something that should have been a product that you buy in perpetuity. Again, either unless the game is sold as a subscription service, unless the game is bought as a subscription service, it's automatically sold as goods. And there is no two ways about it. It should be something that the company shouldn't have a say over once it's time to retire it, at least on their end. Again, go check out Ross Scott's or Accursed Farms video about the games as a service. We must fight against the live service plague, and no, go check out the video. Generally speaking, it's my hope is that we can save Lemnisgate, and if we can save Lemnisgate, well, at least Frontier can be lorded over other publishers and mentioned as a good guy. That would be perfect. Despite my grievances with Frontier Developments as a company, at least I could say that they did great things. Once the service is done for one of their products, whether they published it or developed it themselves, they released an end-of-life support after it, either introducing some sort of way to keep on playing the game despite the servers being off, or hell, adding a local multiplayer, which would be perfect ending for Lemnisgate. But whether that will happen is really dependent on Frontier. It really is dependent on Frontier and publishers, and less so on game developers oftentimes. But yeah. Yeah, but then who'd buy Elite Dangerous 2? Well, that's the thing. And we're gonna get into this as well. I did release another video. Oh, right. Speaking of who'd gonna buy the sequel to a good game that they released as a live service if they don't brick it? Well, the fans, right? If the servers are down and it's only supported by fans, well, let's be frank, oftentimes, unless it's a Heroes of Might and Magic 3, it's not really gonna be played as much. So as long as you provide better gameplay, or hell, even the same gameplay but with a few additions to it, people will be willing to jump on that instead. And that neatly leads us into the topic of Kerbal Space Program 2. I also released a video that became quite popular for this month, and my the title was The Failure of Kerbal Space Program 2. Where I did discuss three main problems for why Kerbal 2 is just quite literally dead right now. If you go on Steam charts, hold on. Steam charts, KSP2. Let's see. Okay. Right, so when I started making the video about Kerbal Space Program 2 being a failure, right? When I started making that video, what I saw on Steam charts was the 24-hour peak player counts being about 500 or so players, right? That's all. That's already going down immediately, considering that all-time peak is about 11,000. While at the same time, the Kerbal Space Program 1, which for the last, let's say, 3-4 years, has been enjoying the approximate player counts of about 4,000 to 5,000. It varies a bit, but it's approximate numbers. To see the it's not been 3 months. Bottom line is, okay, now it's technically been 3 months. With the May closure, it's been March, April, and May. In these 3 months, Kerbal Space Program hasn't even averaged 2,000 on a month. And it's been going down to 200. Well, at the same time, hold on, let me check Kerbal 1. Again, yes, Kerbal Space Program has its own launcher, and you could launch it without Steam. But again, I'm comparing Steam charts to Steam charts, so yeah. Kerbal. God, I can't write. Kerbal. Okay, Kerbal. There we go. So Kerbal. Oh my God, it hurts my. It hurts to see. Kerbal 1 right now is enjoying barely over 2,000 players peak, 24-hour peak. And average player counts are, well, frankly speaking, less than 2,000 at this point. And yeah, as I said previously, for the last 3 or so years, Kerbal, actually, no, come to think of it, it's been up to 2016? No, yeah, it's been since 2016, even more ago. 2014? Yeah, since 2014, Kerbal has averaged easily and consistently throughout all those years, average of 4,000 players throughout all that time, with some peaks and valleys here and there, but that's about it. 4,000 players in the average player counts every month. Now, because of Kerbal 2, it's less than 2,000. It's a noticeable dip because of it, and it's such a sad thing. I genuinely appreciate Kerbal. Like, it genuinely is one of those amazing things that don't come around often. It bridges the gap of just boring science or hard science with something that is genuinely fun and can be enjoyed a lot because of just how silly it's presented. It bridges that gap so perfectly, and yet it's ruined by its sequel. So, sequel failed. So Kerbal Space Program 2 was just literally pushed out when it wasn't clearly ready. Now, we could talk about why it was pushed out or who was at fault, but the bottom line is it just tarnishes the legacy and result of the goodwill that the players had garnered throughout the literal decade for Kerbal. So yeah, Elite 2, for example, as somebody here in the chats mentioned, it could go the same way. Why would you buy, let's say, Elite 5, because Elite Dangerous is Elite 4, right? So why would you buy Elite 5 when Elite 2, worked? Yeah, if developers didn't brick it, that would probably be the reason why, because that's the only Elite that is running, right? But the problem is, even if you brick and artificially just destroy your past product so that you have to buy the new one if you want to experience anything like the last one, it will be looked at as negatively as well, either which way. But yeah, there's a reason why you should not fuck up with a sequel. Rather, you have a gun to your head to do better the next time. Because, hey, the first game that you release in early access, for example. Yeah, all right. So you release a game in early access, and it has a goodwill being built up because it's something new. It hasn't been done before, or it's something fresh, and you're sort of getting your game, well, not game on, but you're starting to develop, a company around it rather than just being, from already existing company. Now, once you've developed already existing a game, you have already some sort of jump off point, an easy jump off point on top of that. So completely going back to what Kerbal 2 did was just sad, where they literally had released a half-baked, unoptimized piece of shit, basically, and then thinking that, oh hey, for $50 no less, that's worth it. Where the hell all the knowledge, all the hell, even if we consider that every single developer from Kerbal 2 development team, which for the most part is new folk, right? None of the old developers really participate. Well, okay, there are some developers that participate in Kerbal Space Program 2 development, but regardless, let's assume there's absolutely no one from Kerbal Space Program 2 development team that worked on the first one. You still have a blueprint of Kerbal 1 to make the game. You don't need to design it, right? Like most of the design principles are done and added with communities modding and communities grievances and comments and literally everything. You can build a better version if only you just listen to the community and not ignore the original design. For the most part, that's what Kerbal 2 did. But they also took fucking 4 years to deliver what, well, quintessentially is a shallow, lazy, well, frankly speaking, version of, early access Kerbal from 2013. So yeah. You start to wonder where the hell did both the money, the time, hell, did they even look at the old game enough to make it? It's, I don't know, with the Kerbal, it's a weird sort of a tale. It genuinely feels like they were dragging their feet. For 4 years, you can develop a game that is literally Kerbal Space Program 1. Sure, with slightly better graphics, or hell, even with the same graphics. Definitely with the same graphics, you can make Kerbal 1 these days in 4 years with a staff of 5 people, maybe? Well, if they're, okay, or maybe good even, right? With a staff of 20, you can do a lot more, right? So, where the hell did the development go? That's the point, and of course, there's the good old question as to why it needed to be pushed out. Kerbal Space Program 2. Well, because now it has a big publisher. The big publisher has sunk in the money into it, so they have to see some sort of a result upon their investment. And of course, if you release the game like Minecraft back in the day or Kerbal 1 back in the day on a cheap price for, because it's an early access game for, let's say, $20 or $10, and have the game constantly being updated, well, because you already have that fan base around you, well, the big payday is the launch, so you can't reduce the price of it. And I can understand it, but it's also a dick move. Let's be frank. So yeah, here we are with the result of just overpriced early access trash. That is Kerbal 2, sadly. And that in turn also impacts the original game as well, which is the stupidest and the saddest thing. But again, yeah, how could you like something that once was good when you know that the newest version, or no, it's basically the result of death of the author, the philosophical idea of death of the author, essentially at work. As much as you want to, you can't ignore what the author Well, in this case, that would be the IP handler does with the property, right? Um, it kind of is what happened with Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling's interesting thoughts, let's just say. But yeah, the same thing with Star Wars as well, right? The new trilogy has pissed me quite off a lot. So much so that instead of being apathetic about Star Wars, I frankly hate it and hate everything about it. Because, well, there's also bigger problems with the whole idea of nostalgia driving and nostalgia milking. But that's a whole different topic. Regardless, the point is, yeah, as much as you want to, you cannot ignore what the author or the handler of the IP does. So, it is what it is. Right, so, anyways, moving on then. Oh, gods, shit, man, May is a pile of shit. Honestly, just bad news after bad news after bad news, and honestly speaking, about only 2 good news. Fucking hell. Alright, moving on then. Right. So, moving on then, the next piece of news is that, remember Five Nights at Freddy's? Yeah, that thing. Apparently it's getting a movie after 8 years, finally. And there have been some rumors and restarts and some leaks floating about, but apparently that's now happening, and there has been a trailer for it, so go check it out. But honestly speaking, it's fundamentally, if you saw that Nicolas Cage Five Nights at Freddy's totally not movie, it's probably going to be about the same. I honestly don't expect it to be any different. And fundamentally speaking, I still need to play the games myself, actually. But yeah, it's good as an indie game. As soon as you get more into it, I would say it's not really that worth it. You know, it's a good small idea. Five Nights at Freddy's. It didn't need to be turned into anything larger, but hey, hell, even the Slenderman got the fucking movie, so yeah, whatever is profitable, right? I'm honestly waiting for Among Us movie, but because it sort of flared up and died down, at least now, yeah, it's yeah, no, it's not that useful. or good or interesting, because a good idea is a good idea, you know. Small good idea should stay small good idea. Expanding upon it is really kind of pointless. Anyways, moving on, Mortal Kombat is getting a reboot. Let's see, the last part of Mortal Kombat was, what, 11? So 12 now is going to be Mortal Kombat 1. Yay. I mean, as long as it, you know, blood, guts, gore, and glory kills and all that stuff, I'm happy. But fundamentally, honestly, now that I think of it, ever since they, well, which was the first Mortal Kombat when they added the X-ray bone-breaking finishers? Let's see, was it Mortal Kombat 7 or was it, no, I think it was 7, right? I might be wrong on when they introduced the X-ray fatalities, but yeah, basically that fucking thing. Whenever they introduced that one, that was the peak, in my opinion, of just a fun part of the gameplay. Everything else was just repeating, and adding more cross promotional things, like, you know, Terminator. What else did they add? I think they add either the Alien or Predator or both of them. Some other stuff they also added. Basically just cross promotional sort of characters here and there. So. Jason, yeah. Robocop, yeah, exactly. So at that point it became just simply milking, and no thanks. But anyways, there you go. Did we need a new Mortal Kombat? No. Will the fighting game fans will buy it? Yes. At least on the fighting games, you can say that the gameplay is always tight. Fighting games have always had tight gameplay because if you make a loose game and really shitty game, it immediately gets booted out of the fucking fandom and laughed at. Though they did try putting in more microtransactions, especially locking off literal characters. I think it was from, was it from Street Fighter or, well, I mean, there are a few other fighting games that did literally lock off characters or tried locking off characters that literally have or are the mainstay characters from the roster, from the roster just to milk more money and so on and so forth. So, yeah, no. Injustice, yeah, Injustice indeed as well. So, well, we'll see. We'll see. Unlike sports games, at least I can respect fighting games because, hey, at least the gameplay is tight. So, there you go. Oh, God, moving on. War Thunder. Yes, this month War Thunder fucked the pooch hard. Before I go on, let me check the Steam page. But yeah, basically, War Thunder decided that, oh, hey, let's do the desperate thing, and yep, it's still at 20% positive. Oh gosh, the recent reviews for War Thunder is 20% positive, and the reason for that, so it started about a week and a half ago, and it's just been just train wrecking. Now the negative reviews have died down, but it's a massive downturn. Anyways. So, War Thunder decided that, oh hey, we kind of want to incentivize players to buy premium stuff like currencies, features, you know, somewhat of a pay-to-win or pay-to-skip stuff, essentially. Repairs, you know, that sort of crap as a tank games and that sort of armored warfare games tend to have. World of Tanks. There we go. So yeah, War Thunder decided, well, we're gonna change the economy. Well, the way they changed the economy was to reduce the rewards of matches, increasing penalties, and I think it was also increasing the repair costs. Essentially, again, you can already feel how that is going to put in the grindy feel. There were a few other changes that essentially they tried pushing forth, and, well, what happened was that the community got pissed off. And you don't want to see the goddamn tank community pissed off, man. No, it's... Oh, they are accepting of pay to win, but yeah, once they get riled up, you done fucked up. So lots of negative reviews on Steam are left over. That left War Thunder releasing public messages, couple of them in fact. The first one was meh, and the second one was sort of gaslighting. Essentially, what the World of Tanks developers did was offer a couple of, offer a poll with only two options, essentially, where both of the options are bad. And just saying, well, this is what you wanted, or this is what you more wanted, and sort of pushing that narrative, or trying to gaslight the players, saying that, well, you wouldn't want the game to be, you know, boring, or, well, hey, some people liked it, right? You know, that sort of, well, out of touch responses, trying to mask their, well, frankly speaking, villainy at this point, because fundamentally changing economy is one way desperate free-to-play games tend to fuck up the games itself, and heavily so. That basically happens when they realize that, oh hey, we can't keep on growing this business, or the business is falling, so or we're not getting enough income through microtransactions and other purchases. So what do? Well, we squeeze the player base, and the way they squeeze oftentimes is with economy changes, making the non-premium versions becoming quite shit, and thus driving up the pay to win. And result is basically either the community accepts it, which rarely happens, or, well, the result is the negative backlash, and this time they fucked up hard. Of course, their response was just gaslighting or out of touch bullshit, and it's still negative, and until they decide to do something. Rather, until developers of War Thunder Gaijin decides to do something about that economy change or what to replace with it, the current changes are staying in. Fuck you. Not reverting, because fuck you. Yeah, free-to-play games, man. When they get too big for their britches. So, yeah. Anyways, let's then move on. But yeah, it was probably the second biggest event of the month. The first one, biggest one, being the Overwatch 2, because it's a pathetic shyster-filled bullshit, essentially. So yeah, War Thunder fucking up was quite hilarious to see, and well, deservedly so. Anyways, the next story is continuing on with Redfall. In the recent Bloomberg reports, it came out that apparently Redfall development was plagued with a lot of problems, as you'd kind of expect. But basically what happened was that during development of Redfall, about 70% of the developers who worked on their previous game, not the Deathloop but the Prey, quit. That wasn't helped by the fact that also developers apparently knew that the game wasn't good enough and hoped, whoever was left, that Microsoft would outright cancel it. But let's be frank, once you've sunk in enough money into a project, canceling something is something you don't want to do, and releasing even that sort of level broken crap is more profitable than not releasing it. Do you remember Kerbal Space Program 2? So yeah, we can see a pattern of, I mean, business-wise it makes sense, right? You already put in a lot of money into it, and fuck it, at that point there's nothing to lose. But there is. That's the thing. You lose the reputation of your development team. Your own reputation, in fact. And in fact, after Redfall, Redfall, not Redfall, but Arcane is in my shit list. And many other people's shit list. So yeah, and of course, although Microsoft being the publisher, or rather Bethesda being the publisher, they can, they don't care. Publisher tends not to suffer as much as the developer, sadly, which they should. The publisher should definitely feel the pain far more than the developer, because the publisher is more responsible for handling the project. Although in the case of Anthem, if you remember, well, with Anthem it's a bit different. With the Anthem, you kinda need both sides not to fuck up. Although in that case, I would say Anthem's developers were a bigger problem. But whatever, that's an exception rather than the norm. So yeah. For Redfall, again, you can go and check out the Bloomberg report, but it pretty much results in what quite a lot of people kind of expected. Maybe not in a specific way, but what we could already feel from just the level of gameplay, quote unquote, that Redfall had. So yeah, but yeah, there we go. Now, moving on then to some more shit news. Apparently, Stalker 2 recently got again hacked, and some of the other early testing footage, not footage, but data has been leaked again, and that's. Yeah, the developers of Stalker, the GSC World, is urging people not to look at it, and so on and so forth. Although, personally speaking, I find the idea of just, oh well, our materials leaked, please don't look at them, and I'm thinking, well, no. I mean, I won't look at it because I respect Stalker and I want to go in fresh as a reviewer, but fundamentally, well, as much as I would like to, like any developer out there, what's out there is out there. You like it or not. What's out there is out there, and whether people want to look at it, they'll look at it. And encouraging people not to look at it kind of Streisand effect. So, also, I appreciate behind the scenes stuff a lot, but whatever. Anyways. Oh, gods. Okay, well, let's go for the couple of good news, and specifically good news for Latvia. Yes, that's right, my fellow Latvians, if there are any of you fuckers watching. Latvia in the ice hockey championship there, about a week ago, was it? Shit, yeah, about a week ago, did get bronze medal. Yes, we could have gotten gold if we beat the Canadians. Damn it. But aside from that, historic event there, Latvia wins the bronze medal in the World Championship there for hockey, and I am proud of my folks. The funny thing is that literally on the evening of the victory day, our parliament, or Saima, decided to vote for and approve the next day to be a holiday, or a day off, basically. It's pretty stupid that, hey, half of the parliament can come together and say, oh, well, we're going to pass this quick thing, and everyone's going to be happy. And sure, yeah, it's a free day for everyone, right? But it's really stupid how quickly that sort of stuff can happen. And again, you can understand why they did it, and but it's something that shouldn't happen, even at the best of instances. It's just, you can't decide upon something for months or years because of lobbying and whatnot else, but then you can decide on a free day for everyone that literally in less than fucking 12 hours. Shows the confidence and competence of the Saima. Latvia! But aside from that, hockey is our thing, and we could have gotten the gold, damn it! And speaking of Latvian stuff as well, recently, or well, a couple of days ago, or was it a day ago, Latvia finally got its new president voted in, and that's about it. Yeah, we got a new president. No one really cares about it because it's a glorified ambassador anyways, but whatever. Anyways, there you go. That's about enough news on Latvia. Moving on to some more shit. Lord of the Rings, Gollum was released this month as well, and it's it's horrible. First of all, it looks like shit, and if you look at online examples, it plays like shit too. Fucking hell. Apparently developers even apologize for the whole game, and it's pretty hilarious overall. It's just generally horrible. Anyways, moving on, there is actually a game that released this month, just recently, a couple of days ago, that is apparently good, and that is the long-awaited System Shock remake. If you want to know more about how it plays or what it's all about, go check out my fellow creators, colleagues, Charlatan Wonder's take on it. He played the original System Shock throughout, and also released a video just recently about that too. So again, Charlatan Wonder, go check his stuff out. But yeah, oh gods, and we're gonna finish up today's news broadcast with a Oh, god damn it. Okay, Diablo 4 is in early access for those who pre-ordered. Fuck you! Well, apparently those that are already in for the Diablo 4 early access play thing. Well, first of all, players are going for the 100 level, what was it? First 1,000 players who reach the 100th level in hardcore, I think it was, will be immemorialized. Oh, in memorialized. I speak very good. Put in stone on a fucking statue for the game. There you go. God damn it. Yeah, that'll be just scripted into a game there. Anyways, but yeah, aside from that, apparently the microtransactions already are hilariously overpriced for Diablo 4. So that's yeah. Also, remember, fuck Activision Blizzard. Yeah. Fuck them. Also, recently, Bobby Kotick came out saying that, the sexual assault cases brought against ActiBliz, ActiBliz were just spurious, and it was just some sort of a action that, what is it, unions tried to take to destabilize the company. Remember, Bobby Kotick is a piece of shit. Yeah. The fat devil horn-eyed piece of shit that he is can go fuck himself. Yeah. Now, so unions shouldn't exist for game developers, or that they try to destabilize the ActiveBliz. How about not having sexual assault cases brought against you, and actually treating your employees better? That's all you really need to do, but apparently you can't even do that much, Bobby Kotick. You can go fuck yourself. And that's about it for this evening. Oh yeah, Diablo 4. Well, no, who cares? Basically, yet another example of just microtransaction-laid ActiveBliz bullshit. So, there we go. But anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this month's wonderful space-based news. I'll be seeing you then next month for that month's news. Of course, if there are some interesting news pieces that you want covered, of course, during that month, do send them in. Join the Discords, and just poke me basically through there. Other than that, of course, I thank everyone who watched, followed, and all that stuff. As I said, join the Discords, but if you want to support a little bit more of what I do and how I do things, well, check out Patreon down below. Definitely, maybe check out merch and other useful things down there. Aside from that, take care of yourselves, and remember, Activision Blizzard is evil. Also, Overwatch can go fuck itself. So can War Thunder. So can Diablo. I'm still waiting for Stalker 2. God damn it, I want to see it this year come out. Kerbal Space Program 2 is going to be a long time if they ever, fully release. And Redfall is dead. Yeah. Oh, and best of luck to Starbase, but I'm not holding out hope too much for it, sadly. It is what it is. All right. Now, where the fuck was the button? Bye.